Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Life doesn't hand out participation trophies. It rewards the bold, the relentless, and the unshakable. But here's the truth. It's not the world that decides whether you rise or fall. It's you. Every single day you make a choice. Are you going to sit back, or are you going to step into the arena of life and own your destiny? Imagine you're standing at the edge of a cliff, looking down at everything you've ever wanted. Success, fulfillment, love, meaning. It's all there, waiting for you. But here's the catch. You can't tiptoe to the edge and hope to get it. You have to leap. You have to go all in. Half measures never lead to greatness. And so some of you are waiting for the right time. You think, I'll take action when the stars align. But guess what? The stars don't care about your excuses. The right time doesn't exist. What exists is this moment, right here, right now. The universe is handing you the pen. Are you going to write a story worth remembering, or are you going to let someone else hold the pen for you? Think about what's at stake. If this doesn't motivate you, what will? If the fire of possibility doesn't ignite something inside you, then you're letting your dreams collect dust. And let me be clear, it's not because you're incapable, it's because you've let fear whisper lies in your ear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of change. But let me tell you something about fear. It's a liar. You are stronger than you ever imagined. You have the power to break through barriers, to create a life that's not just good, but extraordinary. But it starts with a decision to stop settling, to stop making excuses, and to step into the version of yourself that's been waiting to be unleashed. So I ask you, what's it going to take? What's it going to take for you to say enough is enough? Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for someone else to validate your potential. This is your life, and if you don't take control of it, no one else will. Now is the time to stand up. Now is the time to fight for your dreams like your life depends on it, because it does. Let me take you back to a moment in time. There's a man standing in front of his bathroom mirror staring at his own reflection. He's not some stranger. He could be anyone. He could be you. His shoulders are slumped. His eyes are tired, and in his chest there's a hollow ache he can't quite describe. He's not broken, not exactly, but he's stuck. This man has dreams, big ones. He had plans once, ambitions that made him feel alive, but life happened. Responsibilities piled up, fear whispered, what if you fail? Doubt said, you're not good enough, and slowly, without even realizing it, he let those dreams slip through his fingers like sand. Lost. One day, as he's brushing his teeth, he looks up and sees himself, really sees himself for the first time in years, and it hits him. A wave of regret so strong it almost knocks him over. Not regret for what he's done, but for everything he hasn't, for every risk he didn't take, every opportunity he let pass, every moment he chose to play it safe instead of reaching for greatness. And in that moment, he makes a decision. He's done waiting for the perfect time. He's done letting fear run the show. He's done waking up every day feeling like he's living someone else's life. That man's story could be yours, it could be mine. It's the story of anyone who's ever looked in the mirror and known deep down that they were meant for more. So let me ask you, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? More importantly, what are you going to do about it? Here's the truth. Your life is your responsibility. Nobody else is coming to save you. Nobody else is going to do the work, make the changes, or build the life you dream about. That's on you, and that's the best news you could ever hear. Why? Because it means you already hold the power to change everything. Think about this. No one is born extraordinary. Every great success story you've ever heard, every athlete, entrepreneur, artist, or visionary, they didn't wake up one day and find greatness waiting for them. They built it. Brick by brick, decision by decision. And here's the best part. They didn't have anything you don't already have. You have the same 24 hours in a day. You have the ability to learn, grow, adapt, and persevere. What separates them isn't talent. It's accountability. It's the decision to stop blaming the world, their circumstances, or their past, and instead take ownership of their future. You are capable of more than you've ever imagined. You have untapped potential waiting to be unleashed. But here's the catch. Potential means nothing without action. Wishing, hoping, and dreaming are great, but they don't build empires. Action does. So stop looking for excuses. Stop waiting for someone else to give you permission. Stop waiting for the perfect time. It doesn't exist. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is you. That's not a burden. It's freedom. When you take full accountability, you unlock limitless potential. You realize there are no limits to what you can achieve except the ones you place on yourself. So what's it going to be? Will you own your power, or will you let it slip away? The choice is yours. Let me ask you something. What's the price you're paying for staying exactly where you are? Think about it. Every day you delay, every moment you hesitate, you're trading the life you want for the comfort of what's familiar. But here's the hard truth. Inaction isn't free. It costs you more than you realize. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, tomorrow turns into next week, then next month, then next year, and before you know it, years have passed. You look back and realize the dreams you once had are nothing more than distant memories. The life you were meant to live, full of purpose, passion, and possibility, is still out there, but you're no closer to it. The cost of inaction isn't just time, it's regret. Regret for the opportunities you didn't seize, the risks you didn't take, the life you didn't create because you were too afraid or too distracted to act. And let me tell you something, regret is heavier than failure. Failure teaches you, grows you, shapes you. But regret is a prison you build with your own two hands. And let's not sugarcoat it. Life is short. You don't have endless chances. The time to act is not someday, it's now. Someday doesn't exist. It's a fantasy we tell ourselves to feel better about putting off what we know we need to do. If you don't act today, what will your life look like a year from now? 5 years, 10? Don't let the weight of inaction steal your future. There's a cost to waiting, and it's one you can't afford to pay. The time to move is now, because the clock doesn't stop for anyone, and neither does life. Let me share a story about a woman named Sarah. She was like so many of us, caught in the grind of life, doing what was expected, but feeling empty inside. She worked a job she didn't love, lived in a constant state of stress, and told herself that one day things would get better. But deep down, she knew she was settling. One evening after a particularly hard day, Sarah found herself sitting alone in her car, staring at the dashboard. She couldn't stop thinking, is this it? Is this all my life is going to be? The weight of that question was suffocating. For a moment, she felt like giving up. But then something happened. She caught a glimpse of her reflection in the rearview mirror, and instead of seeing defeat, she saw a spark, a tiny flicker of the person she used to be. The person who dreamed big, who believed she could conquer the world, who wasn't afraid to try. And in that moment, she made a choice. She decided that she wasn't going to let life happen to her anymore. She was going to happen to life. She started small, waking up an hour earlier to work on a side project she was passionate about. She said no to the things that drained her and yes to the things that fueled her. And over time, the little steps added up. Sarah's life didn't change in a day, but it transformed because of that one moment of clarity and commitment. Here's the thing, we all have a Sarah moment, a point where we decide to stop settling and start living. What will yours be? Because when you choose change, you choose a better future, and that changes everything. So the time is now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when things feel perfect, because they never will. Right now, in this very moment, you have the power to take the first step toward the life you've always wanted. And that step, it's everything. Think about it. Every achievement, every breakthrough, every transformation in history started with someone deciding enough is enough. That someone can be you. But here's the catch. You have to act. Wishing won't do it. Hoping won't do it. Only action will. What's one thing you can do right now, this very second, to move closer to your goals? Don't overthink it. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be perfect. This has to be real. Maybe it's sending that email, making that phone call, signing up for that course, or even just committing to yourself out loud, I'm not going to wait anymore. The truth is, life isn't waiting for you. The opportunities you let pass today may not be there tomorrow. And the longer you delay, the more you risk settling for a version of life that's a shadow of what it could be. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be that way. You have the power to rewrite your story starting now. So here's my challenge to you. Take that first step. Not later, not when it's convenient, now. Because the life you want, the person you want to become, the dreams you've been holding on to, they're waiting for you to show up. Will you step up? Will you choose action over excuses? Will you decide right here, right now, to take control of your destiny? This is your moment. Claim it. Your future self will thank you.